Hey, what's up guys, it's OSG here, and I've got a bit of good news. My plan to get remonetized has paid off, and now I am officially making money off my videos again. And while it's not all about money, it helps me justify the amount of time I spend doing this and being away from my wife and kids. Anyway, this is the next video, and it's an absolute cracking list I think. I made this list with the help of Sinisteve and Lucas Rainford, who are two of the biggest Amiga fans I have ever met. These guys really know their stuff, and I think we have got somewhere near a definitive list of 30 best Amiga games ever. So sit back and relax and take a truly nostalgic trip down memory lane, as every game in this list is class. In 30th place is Rodland. Now up until 2 years ago I hadn't played this, but it got mentioned a lot in my original video, so here it is, and it's a great game that isn't as easy as it looks. '29th place goes to Defender of the Crown. As far as great looking Amiga games go, this is right up there with the best. It's a great medieval game to play with your friends. I spent so much time raiding castles and jousting on this as a kid. Elite takes 28th place, and while I don't like this as much as I do on the C64, it's still a great game, although it feels a bit dated compared to other Amiga games. '27th place goes to Supercars 2. It's a great top-down racer from Gremlin where you haggle with car salesmen and the law in a bid to win all races and end up upgrading to the best car. In 26th place is Banshee. Now if I had my own way, this would have been top 5. In fact, I had it top in my earlier video. But this isn't a list of my favourite games. This is a list of the best games ever. So I've been restrained by Steve and Luke. Still though, look at it, it's class. SuperFrog takes 25th place, and I did the restraining here as it was high up on Steve's list. It's a great looking platform game, but for me it's a bit too nice, but I know that it's well thought of by Amiga fans. '24th place goes to Hybris, which is a great shoot 'em up that will have you playing for ages. It's very Terra Cresta like, so if you like that game, you will love this. In 23rd place is North and South. Now this is a game that I have so many fond memories of playing with my mates when I was young. It's a strategy action game where you play in the American Civil War. I never get tired of playing this game, even today. Battle Squadron takes 22nd place. I personally think this is the best top-down shooter on the Amiga. It's a bit faster and a bit more fun than Hybris for me. "21st place goes to It Came From the Desert. Back in the day this game was so good, I couldn't believe how good it looked. It was like you were in control of a real B-movie. In 20th place is Ruff and Tumble. It's a great run and gun platformer that looks and plays really nice, and it also has class music. The Chaos Engine takes 19th place. I doubt that anyone watching at some point hadn't played this, as the game was massive at the time. It's a great Bitmap Brothers game that is even better in multiplayer. "18th place goes to Apidya, and this is one of my favourite shoot 'em ups on any platform. It's like nothing else with its beautiful looking insect theme and phenomenal music. In 17th place is another Gremlin classic, Lotus Turbo Challenge 2. This game was the best of the trilogy, with great speed and two-player action. It's just so smooth when you compare it to the likes of Outrun. US Gold should look at this and hang their head in shame. Sensible World of Soccer takes 16th place. Now before FIFA we had a number of different football games. This was by far the best, with loads of speed and action, while not being too easy. I still regularly play this today. 15th place goes to Pinball Fantasies. It's the best out of all the pinball games on the Amiga and still plays great today. In 14th place is Another World. This game was and still is frustrating at times, but it's also so captivating and will have you playing for hours, and on top of that it's got one of the best intros ever. Stunt Car Racer takes the 13th position. Like I said on my C64 video, this was great on all systems, but this version was the best. You could also link up and play 2 players and even cross-platform with the Atari ST version. Twelfth place goes to Syndicate. It's an isometric, real-time tactical and strategic game that is set in a future where corporations have replaced governments and you are in charge of a corporation set on global dominance. It's a great looking game that still pulls me back to it to this day. In 11th place is the classic IK Plus. Again, this is the best version of the game with fluid movement, great graphics, class music, definitely a game to play with your friends. Moonstone takes 10th place. This was the first time I was ever scared by a game, and if you've played it you will know what I mean. I still jump to deer when playing it. This was a go-to game for me and my friends when we were younger. In 9th place is Wings. SWOS really knew how to make a great looking game that dragged you right in, and I would say that Wings is the best of them. Their games just oozed class and always had great storylines too. In 8th place is Speedball 2, and what a game it is. It's truly brutal and looks great, also with great sound effects and maybe the best sports gameplay of its time.
Get ready.
Flashback takes 7th place. As with Another World, which was also made by Delphine, this game was so engrossing, and again had great cutscenes and intro. On top of that, the whole game just looks beautiful too. Sixth place goes to the game with the most memorable song on the Amiga, and that's Cannon Fodder. With most games, kids would just hammer a fire button and keys in a bid to get to the game quickly, but I would always let the intro music play on this game. The game itself wasn't a letdown either, it's just so much fun, as the song said. In 5th place is Dune 2. It's a real-time strategy game based on David Lynch's 1984 movie Dune. This for me is where real-time strategy games started, and I will always see it as a granddaddy to games like Command & Conquer.
Enemy unit approaching. Construction complete. Enemy unit destroyed.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Lemmings takes 4th place, and this game was literally in everyone's homes in the 90s. It's a puzzle game that will have you racking your brains in the latter stages on just how to save the little critters. This game is timeless, and to be honest, I would gladly lose hours playing it today. Third place goes to the Settlers. This game is on the same lines of the likes of Populous and Megalomania, but this game just has a little bit of difference that made it more fun to play. You can play against the computer over 30 levels or against up to 4 friends, which made it a solid party game. In 2nd place we have the mighty Turrican 2. As with a lot of games on this list, the Amiga version was the best. Not only for the mind-boggling smoothness of the gameplay and great looking graphics, but also for what may be Chris Hulsbeck's greatest soundtrack ever. And now for the top spot. Well, it can only be one game really, and that is The Secret of Monkey Island. It's a point and click game by LucasArts who dominated the genre, with the likes of Zack McCracken on the C64 and a whole host of other games on all platforms. But this will always be the best of them, not only for its stunning looks but also for its depth and time taken to complete. It's a true work of art. Okay, that's it from me. Let me know in the comments what your favourite Amiga games are. And remember to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Until next time, this is OSG signing.